services offered. Evidence will also be provided to demonstrate the positive impact of these systems and measures on customers' experience. The next category is the most socially aware entity, and there is a trophy and a cash prize of $50,000. This is another new category in the competition this round, and in this year's staging. The judges of the category will be entities required to supply evidence to identify the measures that have been implemented to cater to the needs of their customers with disabilities. The definition of persons with disabilities includes those members of the public who are physically disabled, visually impaired, difficulties with hearing, and difficulties with speech. For the best ministry, there's a prize and a plaque of recognition of $40,000 that will be awarded. All ministry head offices are invited to make submission to the judges panel for consideration in this category. The prize will be awarded to the ministry that provides the best evidence in the following areas: the implementation of the best customer service measures, the implementation of the minimum customer service standards, publication of the Citizens Charter, adherence to standards outlined in the Ministry's Citizens Charter, general customer satisfaction with services provided, and up-to-date Citizens Charter. The Charter should have been revised within the last 3 years. All submissions for all the categories are due by March 31st, 2015. And the Office of the Cabinet has asked me to emphasize that no submission will be accepted after the 31st of March 2015. The judges panel may also grant special awards and honorable mentions at its discretion. We, the judges, we take our role extremely seriously, and we feel confident and very comfortable that at the end of the process, we will have made the right and the best choices in the various categories, and that any of the awards and the rights will be well deserved. We are going to be expecting high quality submissions because we think that our customers deserve no less than cutting-edge service from our public sector. In closing, ladies and gentlemen, we are again honored to be playing an integral role in this worthwhile endeavor. We see this as our contribution to promoting service excellence in our public sector. Public is craving quality public services and quality service from each and every one of us. And we have an obligation to provide the highest quality service possible. And just an editorial note, we wish to find ourselves at a point where all the 240 public sector agencies are going to be a part of the competition. So we want to encourage those entities that have not participated in the previous years to please do so. So on behalf of the judges panel, I wish you well, I wish you luck in the competition, and may the best deserving organizations and individuals be successful. See you all at the awards ceremony next year, June. Thank you very much.
Government and private sector entities. We recognize the Senior Vice President of NCB, Mrs. Audrey Togwell Henry. She's a private sector ambassador for customer service. Now, Customer Service Week commences the first full week of October, and we believe that Customer Service Week will bring national attention to the importance of customer service. There can be no sustained economic growth without customer service. A business with poor service will fail. And I know our PSOJ partners, Richard and Dennis, will agree. On the other hand, a business with excellent service is guaranteed to be a resounding success. Ultimately, Mr. Rowe, this will translate into economic wealth for our country. Indeed, there is profit in customer service excellence. So as we turn our attention to National Customer Service Week, we recognize that it's not just a nice to do. Service excellence is mandatory for sustained economic growth. So we invite you to join in the many activities as we celebrate National Customer Service Week. Done.
Mr. Richard Byles is the President and CEO of Sagicor Jamaica Limited. Sagicor is the most recent winner of the PSOJ Jamaica Customer and the Jamaica Customer Service Association Service Excellence Award. As co-chair of the Government Economic Program Oversight Committee, he has demonstrated an interest in working with government for its improvement. Also, as the person at the helm of Sagicor, and with his track record of leading customer service-oriented companies, we thought Mr. Byles would be the ideal person to address us at this launch of the Public Sector Customer Service Competition and the National Customer Service Week 2014. I'm not sure if he will give you some tips, but I know some of you might try to get some afterwards. But I know he's a very open gentleman, and I know some of the CEOs are ready to go and rearing to see what they can put in place to win the awards. I now invite our distinguished guest speaker, Mr. Richard Byles, to deliver the keynote address. Please put your hands together and welcome Mr. Byles.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Distinguished members of the head table, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for inviting me to address you this morning. I consider it a privilege. And if I may say, thank you too. I'm very passionate about the business of transformation in Jamaica. Having lived in a country that has promised so much and delivered so little over many decades. And I channel a lot of that passion into EPOC, and so Devon has to sit and listen to me sometimes. But I really feel very confident more and more every day that we are on a path of change, and that if we can stick to it, we will achieve something that we have failed to do many decades in Jamaica. I was so impressed last night I went to a dinner and sat beside somebody from the U.S. Embassy. I won't say who, but a very high-ranking person who proceeded to speak about Jamaica, in particular about finance and national security. And I tell you, it sounded just like the kind of speeches that I give to my board and to my executives and at the PSOJ. It was very enthusiastic, very supportive, and very confident that we will make the transformation. So I was very happy to come here this morning as part of the larger program of public sector transformation and the role that customer service can play in it. And like Lainey, I was very impressed with that video. Sometimes we tend to forget some of the gems of customer transformation that has happened in the public sector. But they are there. And anyone who has renewed their passport recently, I don't have a firearm myself, but I'm told that it is very good there. And many other places, the Registrar of Companies, the Registrar of Births and Deaths, the NHT, which I feel compelled to mention. So there are many gems that exist, and this is not something brand new to the public sector. It's there, and in some instances, the quality of service is as good, if not better, than many places in the private sector. This morning, I wanted to just share with you what what guides us at Sagicor in respect of customer service, the principles, and to many of the things that I'm going to say may not be new to you. It may be stuff that you already practice. It will reinforce what you are doing, and for others it may prove to be the secret to success in this year's competition. So, Ingrid, really what we seek to do at Sagicor is not just good customer service, but exceptional customer service. And I say we seek to because it's always a journey that never stops and which you have to constantly improve upon. And in providing exceptional service, there are two words that are really important, and it is consistently and exceeding. Those are very important words. No good to be good for a week, good for a year. You have to be good every day and better the next day. So customers' expectations also rise. So what you did yesterday for them is what they expect today. And tomorrow they want something more. So there is a pathway, a process of constant improvement that we must follow. So at Sagicor 4 years ago, I personally adopted the business of delivering exceptional customer service. And I think this is important. This is not a project that came from a VP or anyone like that. I personally adopted it. It was my baby, it was my reputation, and I drove it. And I think that is really important for all the leaders of a company. You have to take it on. You have to be the champion. You have to be the patron. You have to be passionate about it, and you have to demonstrate that passion constantly. So that buy-in is really important for the rest of your organization. Secondly, we had to codify it. It's no use it just being word of mouth. It had to be written. We have to have a commitment. We have to have a reference point. And that is what our customer service charter is. And it gives you the opportunity to bring together all the different aspects of your business and to sit down and to say, what is it that the customers really want? How is it that I can best deliver it to them? And you embody that in your policy. So it's also an opportunity for you to discuss the way forward. Secondly, you have to win the team over. Right? You've got to get the team on your side. And in some instances, you have to make a judgment. Do you have the right persons in place? It doesn't mean you have to fire them, but it may mean you have to rotate them. I give you an experience I had when I was down at Jewel Hotel the other day speaking to one of the managers and trying to compare how they do customer service to how we do it in the financial sector. He said to me, you know, the difference between your business and my business is you hire for skill. You go out there and you look for somebody who knows about derivatives or who is an actuary. In the hotel business, I hire for personality. I want somebody who is just great with dealing with people. I can teach you how to be a bartender. You may come to me and want to be a cook, but I think you can be a great bartender. So the issue of putting people in the right slots is important. That doesn't mean that all the cooks are bartenders at Jewel and all the bartenders are cooks. I think for those of you who go to Jewel, you will agree the food is not so bad. And you have to train. You have to constantly train because it's like a knife. You have a sharp knife and you keep using it, it becomes dull. And that's what happens to a lot of people who are working on the front line dealing with customers. They take a little abuse and they wear down a bit, and you have to retrain them, sharpen them up, recommit them, make them understand again why it is so important to treat the customer exceptionally. Finally, in the area of making a team sign on, we believe a lot in reward and recognition. So we have on-the-spot recognition or rewards. I hear about something that has happened. Somebody brings it to my attention. We go right down there on the floor and we take a 2-minute break, draw everybody's attention, not just the members of our team, but even the customers who are there, and we make the presentation to them. I remember once one of our customer service persons helped some Jamaican who lived in Pennsylvania and worked with Hershey's, the chocolate company. And she sent us a chocolate that was this big. It was such a wonderful expression. And I went down there on the customer service floor, stopped everything, delivered the chocolate to her, and gave a little 30-second speech as to why. And all the customers applauded too. That kind of recognition, money can't buy. But money helps if you can back it up. If you back it up with a small check. But the recognition is vitally important. Operational efficiency. In the video, there was some talk about that, and Douglas in his presentation also. Very important, indispensable, fundamental. You can't deliver exceptional customer service by just being nice and accommodating. You have to have the ability to deliver efficiently. And oftentimes that means you need to have the electronic means. Vitally important, and I would encourage, and I know there's a massive program in government to get you updated from the point of view of technology, so you can know what is happening. For us, understanding the whole picture of the customer is vital. So when Audrey comes to Sagicor, I'm sure she's a policy holder, when we pull up Audrey's name, we want to see everything about her. You know, her life policies, her banking relationship, her investments, everything, so that we know who Audrey is. We don't just see her in one dimension. We see her in the fullness. And that's technology. You have to have that to pull all the strands together. So that when anybody in the private sector walks into the tax office, you can see everything about them also. These are just fundamental and important issues. The other important principle is that we always benchmark our touch points. What we did was we went through the company and said, what are the areas in which we touch the customer the most? Right? And those were the areas that we paid the most immediate attention to and invested the deepest in. So our telephone contact center, vitally important today in any modern business. People are calling, and you touch so many more customers in that means than you do actually face-to-face. At our head office, also, we have something like about 30,000 visitors there each year. So this is another important occasion for us to improve service. Our various branches in handling claims. This is, in fact, the single most prolific way in which a customer touches us and we touch a customer. And I'm going to give you some numbers shortly. The electronic payments, when you swipe your health card, that interface with the company. Nothing I find more inconvenient than going to an ATM that I'm banking on. I push my card in there and it doesn't work. And that, to me, that is a great inconvenience because I've come to rely on it to work every time. And so When it doesn't, it's a real turn-off. And it's the same thing with our electronic payments. If every time you go to swipe your card, it works except once, that one time is really quite upsetting. And complaints resolution. I view complaints resolution as an opportunity to improve our relationships with the customer, because solving a customer's complaint efficiently and courteously is a real opportunity for you to build a more solid relationship and a more intimate relationship with that customer. Fifthly, report and manage, really important. I elevated business of customer service to the level where I take those reports to the board. So my neck is on the block to the board with these reports. So it's no good that they just come up to me and stop. I want to engage my commitment fully by making the board aware of a target that we have set and what our performance is to that target. So we take to the board the customer service reports. And we even put it in our shareholder reports. Right? And we make shareholders understand that delivering excellent customer service is part of our mantra and part of what is to be expected of the company. It's on our balanced scorecards. So every executive in Sagicor, a part of their reward, a part of their balanced scorecard has to do with what is the result of the customer service survey which we do, and I'll speak about that in a minute. But everybody in Sagicor benefits from a good customer service experience and pays a price whenever that experience is not good enough. So just looking at how we measure and what are some of the results in Sagicor. We receive just short of about 500,000 calls at our call center, and we strive to have an answer rate of 98%. So 98% of the calls need to be answered in 20 seconds or less. And we strive to achieve it. Sometimes we come close, sometimes we don't. But it is very frustrating for customers to call and can't get through, and the phone rings and rings. So we place a lot of attention on this metric, not the least of reasons because so many customers interface with us there. Our claims. We handle millions of claims every year. And we have to perform on this metric because in many ways Sagicor is known mostly for its health insurance, its life insurance, not so much for its asset management or its banking. This health insurance in particular is the one way in which we touch our 500,000 customers so regularly, and so we have to be really careful in how we manage these claims. It goes up and down. Sometimes it goes down because we are just overwhelmed with claims. And I don't know if Devon would look on the dates and see whether there is any relationship between the fall in our claims closure rate and the number of claims that come into us on the GSO program. Yeah. So sometimes we really get overwhelmed with the claims, and there's a seasonality involved in it. Sometimes it's back to school, sometimes it's when a card gets renewed and so forth. So, we never claim that we are actually at the level of customer service we should be. We just try to achieve it every day. Looking on our electronic payments, right, 85%. We started off with 3 or 4 years ago with electronic payments being less than 50% of all the claims made. And we have worked consistently with all of the pharmacies and the doctors, and boy, the doctors are really a challenge, to put in there an electronic means of settlement of these claims. Because it's better for the customers, and whether they know it or not, it's better for the providers, whether they're doctors or pharmacists. So we're now up to 75% of our claims being adjudicated automatically and immediately. And this has had a very important impact on the perception of Sagicor service. Same-day complaint resolution. So we have an objective of settling most of our complaints in the same day. And you see that we do about 69% of them. Some of the complaints are naturally more complex and take a little research, but we try as best as possible to settle those complaints as quickly as we can in the same day. So I just wanted to make you see some of the metrics that we use and some of the results that we've been getting. Every year we do a survey, and it's done by a third party. Actually, sometimes it's done by the same people who do polls, the election polls. So we use a professional third party to sample our customers, and we segment all of our customers, people who we do health with, life insurance, asset management, banking, and we sample it and we measure it against what is called a net promoter score. So many of you know what the net promoter score is. Depending on how you rate the company, you're either a promoter, you're neutral, or you're a detractor. And we put that together, and that is what goes on our balanced scorecard. So no matter how we think we are doing, no matter how our metrics are showing up, when I get those reports and pass them to the board, ultimately it's what the customer thinks of us, and we do that by the annual survey. We also do dipstick surveys. So every month we will take a smaller sample, a much smaller sample, and test our customers. And it's very interesting when you put that dipstick in and pull it out, some of the problems that you see. And it allows you, during the course of the year, to fix these problems before the year is done. Of course, we do some mystery shopping, as you do, and that is always very important. And focus groups, every now and then, we'll pull together a focus group and talk to them in depth about Sagicor service and what they reasonably expect of us. So I thought I would just share a couple of the feedback that we get, both when we do the dipstick as well as what comes up naturally during the course of our operations. Customers will email me sometimes or email some of our other senior executives. So there are a couple of them here. Ingrid, I don't think we need to read them all, but they are pretty complimentary. And even if it is something pretty basic that they are complimenting us about, the fact that a customer feels moved to actually proactively say this to us really is tremendous, and we appreciate it a lot. So what's next for us at Sagicor? 4 years is not a long time to inculcate the organization with the philosophy, the ideology that customer service is central to our success. It's not a long time, because you have to fight against a lot of legacy bad habits that have built up in all of us over the years. So the struggle continues in that respect for Sagicor. But I can assure you that what we see is that when we focus on this business of customer service, measure it, report on it, we get results, and those results show themselves ultimately in our bottom line. So let me just conclude by asking, how are you doing in your organization? You need to have that